Hey everybody, welcome back to the Outsourced Advantage. I'm your host, Derek Kissos, and I'm really excited to have someone who's a colleague of mine in HHS, Felecia Crawford. I'm really excited for her to introduce herself, and we're going to go back and forth about some things she's doing different in hospital culinary and dining. And so, Felecia, thank you so much for joining. Can you tell the group and audience a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Felecia Crawford. I'm the Director of Nutrition Services here at St. Rita's Medical Center and the Bon Secours Mercy System. And we have fun with food here.
That's great. Well, I'm just going to dive right in. We're recording this on a Friday. It's been a long week, and so I'm just going straight at it. One of the things when we first met, this is probably going back, 18 months or so, prior to you actually working with HHS. And when I was rounding your facility, one of the things I noticed, well, a couple things were A, how the team responded to you just in the short time I was there, but also B, your just natural creativity with hospital food. The one I'd like to start with first is your chicken salad program. Can you just give us a little background and what you're doing with that program?
Sure. In 2020, when the world shut down, we had to come up with some creative solutions for our cafeteria space. I think everyone was facing the same, problems. And so we thought, what can we do different? We couldn't use our salad bar the way we used to use it. What can we do new creative to take care of our hospital associates and our associates? So we created a platform. It's called Chikorita, and we had all of our nutrition staff submit their favorite chicken salad recipes, and we tested them all. The top recipes, we worked directly with those associates and really worked through, just basic test kitchen. What does this recipe need to be so that we can produce it consistently, and we can create a platform around it? And so it was so much fun for our staff. We did name the chicken salad recipes after them. So we've got Zach's chicken bacon ranch, or Candy's cranberry chicken salad, Ashley's California dill. And so it was something to give them pride in product that was going out, as well as create something new and different for our associates to purchase and take home with them. And so we served it in the cafeteria by the scoop, or as a sandwich, on a salad, as well as we sell larger quantities of it. So if you're going to the lake for the weekend, you can grab chicken salad to take with you.
That's fantastic, and I'm assuming the reception of that around the hospital was great. Can you elaborate a little bit on if it's still running, which I believe it is, but if it's still running and how you're consistently trying to change it up and keep it fresh for all the employees?
So it is still running. We rest on our tried and true original recipes, but every season we're also looking at what's that new flavor profile that we're missing and we want to hit. And so we have added a few additional ones. Michelle's Southwest chicken salad. We have a Korean barbecue chicken salad, a lemon basil, and a balsamic peach chicken salad. And so again, we go back to our team. I have the most amazing group of managers and associates at this account. And so we get together and we go, okay, everybody throw all of your crazy ideas on the wall. Let's see where it takes us. And so sometimes it takes us into weird, scary food places, and sometimes you find magic.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's interesting. As you were speaking, something popped into my head. I can't remember if it was Halloween or a different holiday, but I remember being on site recently, or the last time I was there, and people actually dressed up and really got into the theme. Can you remind me on how you do that and what you do in terms of kind of generating that spirit?
We do so many promotions. Again, food should be fun. We are very fortunate to work in an industry, and I think if we have fun, we impact our customer and our patients' lives even more. And so every month, the cafeteria is throwing promotions. Any promotion that we can do on the patient side as well, we actually do it for patients that might as well get double bang for the buck, right? If I'm making something
Right.
for Mardi Gras, if I'm going to make it for the cafeteria, our general diet patients can have all of those fun items too. So we make sure we try our best to spread it across so that the floors, the patients, the visitors, everybody can celebrate the holiday, have a fun experience, and we let our staff always dress up, have a good time with it, and we try our best again to get their input on menus. They have some great ideas. And so it's a lot of fun to kind of go, well, what would you like to see served on your station? What would you like to see on this menu? Or what are your customers asking you directly for? Sometimes they get feedback as frontline associates that we don't get. And so it's good to make sure we kind of have that open environment where they can share those ideas and thoughts.
One of the things that's so contagious about you is your energy, right? You're very dynamic. You've got a ton of energy. Where's that energy come from? And I know that's kind of a weird question, but I oftentimes in the food service industry, you've got a lot of energy around creativity and passion for food, but it just kind of explodes out of you in general. Just even talking to you here, where do you think that derives from?
I love what I do. I choose to do this. Like my favorite toy as a child was my Easy Bake Oven. And so this was destined to be, I guess. um,
Right.
I love watching the changes that we can help someone with. I love seeing that, it's not just a meal on a plate. It really is giving someone a smile, a break that they need for the day, or just a chance to come to the cafeteria and just take a deep breath and be with us. And so it energizes me. It kind of feeds my need for being around people. And again, the energy that we have as leaders, our teams feed off of that. If we don't have energy, if we're not passionate, if we're not excited about what we do, then your team's never going to get it. And so, even when we have bad days, my team picks me up too, because we all have rough times sometimes. And so, the team here really bonds together. They have each other's backs. And I think we feed off of each other.
Yeah, that's great. I'll tell you, my team, they always can tell if I haven't eaten in a day because I've been busy. And there's one person in particular who always makes sure, even if I say I'm good, they'll bring me something to eat. She's fantastic. So that's my way of knowing if someone's bringing me food. It means, oh, maybe I'm coming across as in a bad mood today. Luckily, we have a great team here. But one of the things I also want to dive into is a little bit about just your background. How you got to where you're at, and some of your background, whether it's food related or not.
So in college, I started working in restaurants, fell in love with it. And I started my healthcare career at Toro Infirmary in New Orleans, Louisiana. And from there, I've kind of bounced around a little bit. It was great for the career, but I bounced around. So I was in Memphis, Tennessee for 12 years. I worked in acute care as well as senior living and also senior Meals on Wheels. And I'll say I've been very fortunate and blessed through my career. I've always had people that were willing to not just give me an opportunity, but also push me because I am a creative spirit. And so I need somebody to bounce ideas off of. I need someone also to tell me when I have come up with an idea that is absolutely insane and will not work. And I make sure I have people around me to stop me when I need to be stopped. um, I think going from restaurants to healthcare is a huge learning curve. But what I found is in healthcare, again, I realized what a big impact I had on people's day. And so I started in patient services and, in patient services, we could be the happiest part of that patient's day. We're not there to give you news about your current medical state. We're not there to poke or take your blood or give you shots. We're really there to share a smile and hopefully a meal that will nourish your body and your soul at the same time and make you feel better. So once I found that, I think this is my niche.
Well, it definitely is. I can attest to that. And the other interesting part about what you're saying is it's also kind of the only place in a hospital that a patient has control over something, right? They can at least, obviously, depending on diets. I don't want to upset any of our registered dietitian listeners, but obviously, if they have the ability, it is the only thing they can choose and have some control over into what they're eating and what they're selecting on a menu. And so I think that's key. Um, it's
Yeah, in
interesting.
senior
The Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say in senior living, I had a resident that's how he described it to me. He said, "This is the last thing that my wife and I have full control over." And,
Wow.
she was in skilled nursing and he was in independent living, and they still had dinner together every single night of the week. And it was so important to him to have that dinner in their apartment together because it was the last piece of normal in their day that they had always had. And that's a huge deal. It's a big responsibility to make sure that we're giving them the best every single meal that we can.
Yeah, it's such a great way to look at it. And especially in an industry where, at least if you don't work in and around hospitals, you kind of even forget the fact that that's such a value of having a well-run food program. It's interesting to me. I love the fact that you came from restaurants, right? I think that in my experience with the chefs that I've met, and especially with how we tailor our programs, um, I- my personal opinion, our culinary operators may feel differently. My personal opinion is I love when we bring people in from restaurants or hotels or resorts or those natures, because you know you're not stuck in the mindset of, oh, we produce hospital food. No, we don't. We produce food. And so can you give me your thoughts on that, on your experience and why it was valuable coming from outside of and having that experience before going into healthcare?
Everyone will tell you you eat with your eyes first. If you pick out your favorite meal in the whole world, and then someone serves it to you on the top of a trash can, you no longer want to eat that meal. So looks matter. They do on food. You want to look at that meal, and when you take the first bite, you should have a taste memory that goes with that. And so part of the reason I get so passionate about food is I look at, growing up, every family event have food. Every large get together, great memories have food. And so people carry those taste memories with them. And it's important that, when you close your eyes and take a bite of a chocolate chip cookie, you remember being a child and having warm chocolate chip cookies. And so I think it's important to remember. I hate when people put us in the bucket of, oh, it's just hospital food. Nutritious food can be beautiful and flavorful. And so it's something that I think in our industry we're working very hard to break that idea of, oh, it's just hospital food. It should be pretty on the plate. It should be interesting. It should taste good. And yes, again, for the dietitians out there, I know that there are limitations sometimes, but if you get creative and you really look at the ingredients, good ingredients, and treating them the right way, you can end up with an amazing plate of food that's great for your body too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I recently wrote a blog post on changing the stigma in healthcare food. Right, I think there's still, even though the advances, doesn't matter where you work or which hospital, there's a stigma. No matter where you go, it's hospital food, right? And so, can you give me an example or two of how you're working? I can think of one off the top of my head, which is your baked goods program, which I think is fantastic. But can you elaborate on that, and b, anything else you'd add on how you're working personally with your team to try to change that stigma?
So we love cookies, passionately love cookies. We have a platform here called Simple Dimple Cookies. And so we offer 19 different flavors of from scratch, large homemade warm cookies, again, to dine in or take home with you. Um, there was that void at that point in time in our community. We didn't have a bake shop that was offering warm, fresh cookies made from scratch, made with love. And so again, we kind of looked around and kind of analyzed what's going on. What does our customer tell us? Because the voice of the customer always drives us. And so we're like, we just got some new Turbo Chef ovens. And I'm like, well, what else can we do in here other than pizza? I wonder. And so we developed our Simple Dimple cookie platform. And I will say, we're known for cookies. You always want any retail space to have an identity. And you walk in, you go, if I come here, I know I have to get this. And so I think, and you can attest your first visit here, like chicken salad, cookies, like I think we've done a good job of making sure that when you walk in, you go, ooh, wait, I need to try this. This is their specialty. This is what they do. And so I think keeping that creativity around it, again, we're always looking at new flavors. We're always looking at what's the next need. We have a group of gluten-free customers that we thought, we don't want to leave them out. And so part of the cookie recipes are completely gluten-free as well. We partnered with my gluten-free hospital associates here to be our quality checkers as we kind of played with the recipes and made sure we had the right ratio of flours to provide the best flavor, but also the best texture in our cookie recipes for gluten-free customers. And then one of the things we started here is a program that it's something that I started in 2012, and everywhere I've done it, it makes people smile. And so it's called our Staff Salute. And so what we do is we feature one of our nutrition associates every week in our cafeteria. And I thought, wouldn't it be a great way to share with our customers, our staff, you know, get to know you a little better. What are your goals? What's your passion? Why do you love working here? Why do you do this? And so every single week, Staff Salute, we have a nutrition associate. We make a flyer with their face on it, with their passions, their goals, what they would like to share with the customers. And we also feature their favorite menu on the cafeteria menu that Thursday as well. And so, again, a way for us to look at, with our diverse population, we have people that come from all different areas, have different backgrounds, and again, different taste memories that go with each of those. And so it gives us 52 menu change ups every single year, as well as it really shows our staff that we appreciate them. We love them being here, and we really appreciate what they bring to our team, and also their energy to serve our patients and our customers.
That's great. Has there ever been a recipe you've had to say, no, we're not featuring that one?
So I've had people choose items that were out of the cost profile for the platform. And so I usually will meet with that associate and talk through, and I'm like, okay, so let's talk about this. What really is your go-to food at home? What is the item that you lean on that you go, ooh, if I'm going to do something special for myself, it's this. It's usually not what they've written down on the form in front of me. And so we have always been able to come up with their second choice that would actually fit on our menu with our style too.
Yeah, steak and lobster might not be a good every Thursday meal for some cost avoidance there.
Right.
Um, it's so funny as you were talking. I was thinking about how you do the staff salute, and no matter what you do, whether it's a movie, a TV series, or in a hospital food, if you can generate that connection with someone in that production, right? And think of some of the best series. I watch The Office religiously. I literally watch it every night before bed. And so I have my own personal connections with some of those characters, and that's why it makes me come back, even though I know every word they're going to say in every episode. But I think that's so fascinating. You do that and actually take and not just feature the recipe, but give some thoughts, because when the hospital staff or visitors who come in, and most of the hospital staff, because they're a captive audience, right, and continue to come back, I'm sure that drives a lot of repeat business for you guys, and gets them to come in and make sure they're getting to see that face, or knowing when it's so and so's day, it's their featured, they're going to make sure they get to the cafeteria today. Has that proven to be true for you?
Absolutely. Absolutely true. And even down to we have had associates invite their entire family to come in for lunch, take pictures with them. Like it's a big deal. And my new executive chef, he has come up with the idea that we are going to expand that platform. So starting next month, we will actually be featuring a nursing unit and allow them to impact the menu choices for one of our stations and kind of
Wow.
let it be like, hey, 7K wants this, and this is the reason why. And then kind of rotate through again, you know, there are customers. Why not listen to them? Listen to what they want to see, and what can we do with that? And so I think it'll help build connections, and it'll also show community favorites because I love kind of figuring out what's the regional cuisine everywhere that I live because it's so different and I love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. One of the other things that I wanted to ask you is how do you walk that fine balance of making it nutritious and on diet, I would say, with trying to incorporate some of the great things you do, either in changing flavor profiles, changing ingredients, all of that. How does that connection work with the clinical nutrition staff, and how do you kind of push boundaries to make sure RDs don't really want to be testing things? And I know sometimes you have to push them, but can you talk to me a little bit about how you do that, because you do it so successfully at your hospital?
Think including them at the beginning of the conversation. So our lead dietitian at this account, she is at every single manager's meeting that we have each morning. There's not a separation there. We are the same team, and we do have the same goals. Sometimes we get there a little differently, but together we can end up with something that is amazing. Again, it's about kind of that collaboration piece. Usually, it's pretty easy to get my group to volunteer to taste test new items and jump in with their opinion on new exciting things. So typically, they're always part of our quality check situation. They're always on the line of here, taste this cookie, here, taste this cake. Or if it's something more nutritious, then help us with this as well.
Yeah.
And, when we go into National Nutrition Month next month, we make sure that, again, it's really a partnership. My dietitians do a great job on wanting to talk to our customers about these are the services we offer. These are the things that really fuel your body. And when we actually do a competition every single week, so customers will guess the calories and the fats and the protein content and the carbs for a dish in the cafeteria that we have plated. The dietitians are prepared with education around those ingredients. And then at the end of the day, we see which customer came the closest, and then they win a prize of unspeakable value.
Oh, that's fantastic. All of these programs, I can't help to think of how you're just building relationships, right? One of the things I think is, not the stigma of hospital food, but in outsourcing food nutrition services in general, is it's, well, those aren't our people any longer, even if they were their people the day before a transition. And so could you talk to me a little bit of, you've broken those barriers down, right? Like the hospital treats you and your staff like they're hospital employees. And I know that's a concern for a lot of organizations who want to outsource because they don't have the requisite skill sets or support systems, but they're really scared about losing that culture, losing that sense of kind of togetherness and one team, one fight, as I would say. And can you just elaborate a little on how you've been so successful in breaking down those barriers and becoming, a fully integrated care team, and a member of the hospital?
I think it makes a big difference when our clients want us to be one team, right?
Yeah.
We are St. Rita's. Everything I have here is St. Rita's. I'm part of this community. And so I tell all of my staff, and I have been in contract food service for a very long time. And honestly, the logo that signs my paycheck doesn't matter. It's still the same community I am serving. And so I think you get the best of both worlds. I'm part of this community. I am involved in the leadership opportunities that the hospital has for their leaders, including, one of my former clients allowed me to be part of their 6 month black belt team. I think if we go into it and they know we're here for you, we're here for you. I'm here to take care of our patients, and they're our patients together.
Right.
There shouldn't be a separation there. It's not a you or us. It's all of us together coming and going. What can we do with our resources? And the best thing about outsourcing is you have field specialists that this is what we do. And that means as the business is fluid and ever changing, we have people specifically looking at what is the next tool we need? What is the next program we need to meet the new expectation of our customers, of our patients, of our residents? Um, with specialists, you get that. If you don't have specialists, then what ends up happening is your on-site management teams are having to make all of those items from scratch, and that's very time consuming. And it also takes time away from them being able to see more patients or spend more time with their associates. And so I think it's all about your mindset. We started 2020 with the idea of having a change mindset. And I think everybody, if you go into it open-minded and go, okay, two companies, we have the same goal. We want to take care of our people. That's all it should really be about. We're going to take care of our people. We're going to take care of our staff. We're going to take care of our customers. Both companies want that to be successful.
Yeah, that's great. And as you were saying, the logo on your paycheck, I noticed, you don't have a single HHS logo on your chef's coat, and I think that's the reason, right? It's the customer's logo, and I think that's so critical because those little nuanced items create division, right? Like they create an us and them. And so I think that's super key. But you said this at the beginning, it's up to the customer too, right? Like they won't need to have you feel part of that team. That's why when I talk about things to folks out in the industry, for us, it's all about, and for me personally, it's all about building partnerships, not the transactional nature of vendor buyer, supplier buyer, because then now you're a contract company, right? When you look at it that mindset, and I know you guys do a lot to go above and beyond what a contract states, and you do a lot more than what needs to be in there. And I think that's your team stepping up and just showing up, because at the end of the day, we're a people company and an outcomes company, and you epitomize that. Some of the best I've seen as a food service director, which is really special. Anything else you want to talk through, either at your facility now, or just in general around what you're looking to do in the industry?
Um, I would say one of the strides that we really pushed last year was to get rid of all of our styrofoam. And so I'm really proud of my team because the goal is to get rid of styrofoam in the cafeteria. We actually went beyond that. And so we have gotten rid of styrofoam for all of the patient line as well. And again, proud of my team because it was a lot of changes. It was researching what options do we have, what options do we have that are actually good options, because some of the eco-friendly paper options don't hold up long enough for certain things that we do. And so we pushed through. So I'm very proud of my team for checking that box off. This year, we're really focused in for our next sustainability option to really push the boundaries, educate, and get people to try to integrate more plant-based items into their diet. It's sometimes a hard sell in the Midwest. We are a meat and potatoes crowd. Which is good. But again, maybe you could be a flexitarian. Maybe one day a week you can work in something that is plant-based, or, a little good on that Monday to fuel your body for the week. So with that, our team is kind of putting our ideas and plans together so that we can get that in our cafeteria space and make sure, again, it's going to be an education piece. If it's something different that is not common for this area, are we handing out samples? Are we talking to people about it? Are we getting them excited about it? Because most of the items that we have had people try that were outside of their comfort zone, they've enjoyed. You just had to give them the opportunity to try it first.
One of your peers in Arizona literally forced me to eat a dish that was things in it that I've never had before. And A, I didn't know what a flexitarian is, but thank you, now I know. But B, she said, look, I'm going to give you a dish and it's going to have the impossible meat in it. And I said, Trula, I've never had impossible meat and I don't intend to. And she said, okay, do me this deal, just try it. And if you like it, just make a commitment that you'll try it more often. And so she made this fantastic scallion pancake with impossible burger meat in it. And it was phenomenal. And so now I'm a buyer. But, if she didn't kind of walk me through, I'm leaving out a lot of the story. I made her walk me through kind of the backstory of Impossible Burger and the meat and all of that and why we should do it for sustainability purposes. And at that point, on one hand, I felt like, okay, well, I just made her go through this dog and pony show talking to me and explaining it to me. I kind of have to eat it now. But also her food is fantastic. But yeah, it was great. And I think, the education piece that you mentioned is so important to getting people to try new things. And so that's fantastic. Well, it's been great having you on. Any parting comments for our audience here?
No, next time you're at St. Rita's, come see us. We like to have fun with food. There are many, many more amazing meals in our future, and so every day is an adventure here.
Well, I do say if you do go to St. Rita's, try to do it around a holiday because it is definitely a different experience with her team. But in general, everyone, thank you for listening to the Outsourced Advantage. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. We release these every other Thursday, and so really excited for our next guest. And Felecia, thank you so much. I know we took you out of your food service operation today, and so hopefully the team's surviving without you. But really appreciate you joining out of your busy day, and look forward to catching up with you next time I'm in Ohio.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.